Hey guys, as you can see, we're doing more Power Rangers today. So at this point, I hope that you've already seen the 5 individual Zord review videos that I've already done for the Altaya Megazord. Now what we're doing today is we're actually going to be doing a transformation video. So I'm going to show you how all 5 fit together to form the tank mode, and then I'm going to show you how they form into the Megazord. It's not going to be as straightforward as you might think, so stick around and we're going to get right into it. So in the show, when they brought out the Zords, they would always do it in tank mode first, and that's what we're going to do here as well. So I'm going to go ahead and get some of these out of the way. And I'm also going to keep the remastered Red Ranger over here just to really show how ridiculous the size of these things are. And otherwise, we're starting with these two. And specifically, we're going to be starting with the Saber-Tooth Tiger. Because of how big this thing is, I'm going to have to do it from a side perspective because I can't even really get this whole thing in frame once it's all put together. So that's just going to be how we do it. And because we're doing it that way, Saber-Tooth Tiger is really not going to be seen once it's all put together. So that's why we're starting with this one first. So we are going to fold up the legs, and the feet just kind of go up there. So let's see, like that. I'll put the tail down. Our legs will come forward like so. Our fangs do need to come up because they will otherwise hit the ground. And my recommendation, if you do this, is that you don't pull on the tusks for the Saber-Tooth Tiger. Because of the way they're held in, it's really easy for them to just kind of come out. So I would say twist it at the base and you won't have any problems. Otherwise, we're going to put our feet forward like that. And I'm going off of a picture kind of based on the official imagery from the show. But if you really want to put the feet up, then, you know, kind of do what you want. Otherwise, this is basically it. As you can see from the backside, that's the hole where our peg from the T-Rex is going to go into. Next up is our Triceratops, and this one should be pretty straightforward as well. We'll do our tail first. And as I mentioned in the review, the sides kind of keep just falling in anyway. But if they haven't already, then you're going to push them in on each side. Just going to make them a little bit more trim. And then we're going to put our tracks up on both sides. And then, like the Saber-Tooth Tiger, he's got the peg hole for the T-Rex. And then we're pulling our T-Rex back out. And man, okay. So in order to transform him, the pegs are actually part of the knee. So let's see here. I'm going to do this. I'm going to put our arms up first, get them out of the way, and then we need our pegs out. So putting that down, pulling the peg up, and that's as far up as it goes because the leg needs to be kind of folded in. So I'm going to put that. Okay, and then we'll do the same to the other side. Okay, so resting on the feet, and then we want our pegs a little as forward as we can make them. I'm sure you can see this too, but our peg hole is at about this height, but our peg is actually a little bit lower. So I'm not sure what's going to happen, but let's try putting that together and see what happens. So it went in fine with Saber-Tooth Tiger. And I believe you can see that the foot is still flat, which is what we want. And we'll try the same with this Triceratops. And that's okay, but we do actually want this a little bit more angled. So let me work with it and see if I can get it where we need it to be. I forgot about that part. So just above the knee for the T-Rex, this part comes up a bit. I forgot about that part. And that helps to angle him just a little bit more. There we go. I think that's about where we want him to be angled at. And tail will go back down because the tail is just out in tank mode. So, okay, cool. I'm gonna prep the chest piece for the Mastodon head. So I'm just gonna pull that out, and that's just gonna stay there like that. And let's get our Mastodon ready. So I'm gonna pop the head off first. Like the Solo Chogokin, it's held in by 3 total tabs. We've got these 2 up here and this one at the bottom. And for our purposes, we're going to fold that one in, and then this is going to be what pegs into that chest in just a little bit. But for our legs, they transform basically the same way that they will for the Megazord arms. We're going to bring that down. We'll do the same on the other side. And then out. And we're going to go ahead and attach this to the T-Rex now, because it's pretty darn heavy, especially considering that the shoulders are metal and so are the forearms, but this middle piece is all plastic. Arms are in. Let's get them oriented in the right direction. I'm honestly surprised that it even actually holds up that well, because there's just so much weight on this end and the T-Rex and everything, so that's pretty cool. However, I just realized that I forgot to prep the feet of the Mastodon as well. So I'm going to show you this way just because it's easier, but I just need to pull this one out like that. Same thing for the other side. And that's going to be where the pterodactyl is going to connect to. But first, I want to connect our cannons. And as you can see, we already have a square peg hole. And I'm going to plug it in. That looks great so far. We're just doing it this way for now so I can give you a better shot of it as we put it together. So our chest port is down. I'm going to connect, like I said earlier, this is the piece that's going to connect right into there. So while that is technically connected, it's not really holding it up in any like useful way, but there's so much happening that I'm not that bothered by that, but just want you guys to know that. And our pterodactyl. So this one is pretty straightforward. We're going to just take the head, and it's going to come out like that. And then those pieces up there should just peg into each side of that. And it is in. Okay, let's see if I can orient this for you guys. Okay, first, we're going to do our side view. There's our Megazord in tank mode from the side. There's a better shot of him. Ignore my soldering iron station over there. And that's so cool. Let's do this real quick. Obviously not to scale, but really just wanted to show just how ridiculously huge this is, and that's just so fun to see. I love this. This would be the perfect time to use the remote to activate the eyes as well. However, what I found is that you actually can't use the remote like without first like activating the lights. So like you have to turn them on and then you can use the remote, but if you leave them off for a long enough time, then the remote no longer works. It's a little bit weird. I don't know if that's how it's supposed to be or if there's just something wrong with my electronics, but that's the situation. Otherwise, having them like with all the lights on the eyes would be super cool here. But again, like you would have to be careful because in order to do the T-Rex one, the button is on the back and the back is now being covered by the Mastodon. So it would take a little bit of planning to get this all put together while also getting the eyes to be able to light up with the remote. So something to keep in mind. Otherwise, let's go ahead and get this guy into full Megazord mode. Okay, so for Megazord mode, we have some extra pieces, and this is actually where it's going to be different from the Solo Chogokin, because in my review videos, I keep talking about how much these are basically they're just blown up versions of the Solo Chogokin Megazord. And what we have are these additional pieces. Now, these pieces came in issue 120, and before I had issue 120, I put it together anyway, and it was really wobbly. And just to show you, like this is gonna go all over the place and is really hard to get the Megazord to stand if this is the kind of leg that you're standing on. Now, the problem is that there actually is an issue 121 that shows you how to use these pieces, and I don't have it, and I'm not sure if Tokollectibles is actually gonna get that. I'm gonna reach out to them and ask, but I was still able to figure out how to use these pieces anyway. So the way this works is that you have a hole right here, which originally is used for a screw hole. And this is going to peg into there. And then on the opposite side, this is going to also do the same thing where it's just going to plug into itself. Now, as you can see, this piece is curved because it's going to be going against that part of the body. And just to show you, it's just going to peg in like that. This one is going to connect directly to the other side. And so really that means that this is only held in by this single piece right there. But once it's done, then you have a really solid leg, and that's not going to go anywhere. The saber-tooth tiger is very similar, even though it's going to be different. So we've got some different pieces, but they're going to end up doing the same thing. So first, we're going to transform our saber-tooth tiger leg. Head up. Leg up. And leg up. Now, again, as you can see, standing on this is not going to be easy. But we have several pieces to take care of that. First up, we have these two pieces. Now, the reason why I'm showing both at the same time is because this one will actually plug into this one like so. And I'll show you how to use it right now. So on the back of your saber-tooth tiger, this piece, which has a groove cut out for the joint that connects the two main pieces of the body, this is going to slide into the back like so. And you can see it's already started to make it way more rigid. And then from the front side, we have this piece. And there is an angle to it, so you do need to get that the right way. And I'm pretty sure that this way is the correct side. So we've got these extra little bits that are sticking up. And I'm going to just slide this in. Here, I'm going to hold the back side just to make sure it doesn't come out. There. I think you heard that click. And that thing is in. Then we have this piece, and this piece, as you can see, it's got this edge right there, and that's to help keep it from coming out. And this one is actually going to go inside of the neck. As you can see, we're going to put it right here. So this edge is going to go there to prevent it from coming back out. So you can see it sits in. So we're going to close this back up. And you can see it like fills in that gap. And it makes it super rigid that way. And then the last thing we need to do to get this ready for the leg is that, like the Sovjogoken, this part actually flips up like that. So now our two legs are basically ready. Now, it also comes with these two pieces, and these pieces I had to like look up on YouTube to find some French YouTuber that showed how to use the pieces because, again, I don't have issue 121 to really show me. And I'll show you that once we get to that point, but for now we're going to work on the T-Rex. So here is our T-Rex from our tank mode, and we need to do a couple things to get this guy ready. So first thing I want to do is I want to take care of the tail first. And so the tail, you're going to come up this way. And the thing about the tail is that, like the Sovjogoken, it actually has a piece that connects to the Mastodon once it's there. And so I'm going to flip that out now. And while this is conceptually the same as the Sovjogoken, it's in a slightly different placement than the Sovjogoken. Not that it matters, but it's just something I want to point out. Now, with the arms, you can't just put them straight up like this. You actually want to get them into this position. So you need your hands to be at or below the shoulder level. Otherwise, things are going to get weird. And I'm going to try to fold it. There you go. So I'm going to fold it in that much because then the pterodactyl should hold it in the rest of the way. Do the same on the other side. Now, don't forget the thigh actually does come out, and we did that earlier for the tank mode, although I don't think I specifically pointed it out. It is a thing that you do need to do for both modes. And then finally, we're going to put the legs back. So we're going to get him to squat back down on both sides. There he goes. Now, we're going to put his legs down. And now he's ready for the legs. So, I'm going to just drop him in. And it's a pressure fit. There's no like clicking involved. Okay, it is in. And then I do want to take care of these pieces. So the point of those pieces to help kind of give it a little bit more rigidity, because you can see that it can kind of swing around like that, And the way you want to do it is that this is actually going to be at the top, and it's going to be facing in like that. So this one, I'm going to just place it in. There it goes. Now you can see this side is more rigid. It's not going to be able to fall forward as much. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. And I've done it on this one before, but it doesn't, it's weird because it doesn't actually sit flush the way it does on here. So you can see it's right up against the tail, but over here, it's a little bit deeper than the tail. Although I guess to be fair, I believe it's like the same height as what we're seeing over here, and that the tail of the saber tooth is just a little bit taller than on our Triceratops. So maybe that's the difference. But in either case, as far as I can tell, that is the correct way to install it. If you know better, then definitely let me know in the comments. So now I need to change orientation because it's getting hard to see, and I only have so many cameras, and I'm pretty limited because I actually record almost all of my videos on a Galaxy S21 Ultra. And yeah, so we are in portrait mode now. Here are the Mastodon arms. These are basically ready to go from the tank mode. So I'm gonna just put it on, kind of like a coat. It is in, and it is leaning back just a little bit, so I want to try to bring it forward some. Okay, it's definitely standing on its own weight at this point. So let's go ahead and finish up the tail on the back side. And this might be kind of hard to see, but we have our port right here, and our plug is ready to go. And that's in. Here's how that looks. And since we're here, we're gonna go ahead and attach our cannons. Our cannons are just gonna attach right up here. Like so, very straightforward. Here's a side view, and as you can see, the foot of the T-Rex, it doesn't fit in anymore, because if I were to put it in any further, I can't, which would mean that I would have to push this back further this way, which would mean he'd be kind of leaning like that. So I don't know if I'm just doing something wrong. If you know, please let me know in the comments. But otherwise, I'm not that bothered by that because of the fact that I'm never going to be looking at it from this angle. I'm never really going to be looking at it from the back, and even from the back side. That looks fine to me. I'm not that bothered by that. But again, we're really going to be looking at this from the front side. All right, we are almost there. So, like in our transformation sequence that we see in the show, we're going to go ahead and do our T-Rex head next. And I just want you guys to get a better view. So the head is just going to fold right in the way you'd expect it to. And then the chest goes back in. Next up, our pterodactyl. A very simple transformation. The head goes in, and the wing order does actually matter. I'm going to do it in the wrong order just so you can see, because if you do it this way and then this way, this doesn't actually sit fully flat. And then otherwise, if you do it the correct way, like that and like that, then it'll be fully flat. From there, you got to put this and this down, and these are going to plug into our Mastodon. This part and this part will be plugging into the bottom of the T-Rex belly. All right, pterodactyl chest piece is in, and finally our head. There you have it. Our Altaya Megazord fully transformed, and that's awesome to look at. So real quick, I love showing the comparison of the mini plot because of how small it is, and it's just enormous how big this guy is. So this is just a transformation video. I will be doing a full video review, so check that out over here, and otherwise you'll be seeing more Power Rangers.